Hello, everybody. This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light. And in this video, I'm going to talk about this incredibly beautiful, very fiery, alive new moon we have coming up on August 16th in Leo. And yeah, I got shown some really powerful, beautiful things in my praying this morning that are relevant, not only, relevant definitely for the new moon, and also relevant for this time we're in right now leading up to the new moon, and actually for quite a while, because it's related to Venus going retrograde in Leo. And so yeah, I want to drop in kind of slowly into the energies of many layers of all of this. In particular, this grand fire trine that is a repeated theme in the astrology right now. And so I'll show you the chart for that. And I want to drop into the energetics of each component of what I'm noticing there. To help you maybe tap into it yourself and that energy yourself. So yeah, it's super beautiful, super alive. It's like an image of just dancing with the cosmos in a very beautiful way. That's how I can sum it up. But okay, so before I go into that, today is Friday, August 4th, when I'm recording this. If you happen to see this tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, I am holding the second of 2 free gatherings called the Infinite Soul Wisdom Initiation Gathering. And they're recorded. I held the first one on Wednesday. A lot of you were there. And I'm holding the second one. It's the same gathering, just at 2 different times, to accommodate more of the world. So, but both are the Wednesday one is already recorded and already available. And then the one tonight is going to be recorded also. So please feel free to be there live. And if you're seeing this after the fact, then I'm putting the link both to register to be there tonight, but also to see the recording of both. And I would love to have you join that either live and or recorded. And I also want to say that I have various things coming up. In particular, I want to let you know, anybody who's interested in the astrology, Infinite Soul Wisdom Astrology 101 course that I'm going to be starting in February of 2024. I already have a lot of you interested, and some people have already started signing up. I mean, it's great. So it's really exciting. It's going to be very different, I think, than anything I've heard of out there. It's really meant to be a course that's for anybody who both, it could be a total beginner in astrology or a practicing astrologer. And it's really about coming into your own way of knowing. And I'll say more at the end of this video, but the gist is that the course is meant to be a sacred portal, essentially, for remembering your own ancient ways of knowing and having relationship with Earth, cosmos, stars, planets, and really coming back into the reality that you are in your deepest soul level. You are a wisdom keeper. You are an ancient being who knows these things and has deep, infinite relationships with existence. So again, I'll say more at the end of the video about it, but if you're interested in that, I am also, I have a form that you can fill out that's not committing to the course, although you can now sign up. I can also send you the link for that if you're already ready and you want to sign up. But if you're interested, please fill out the form so I know that you're interested. And then, or if you think you might be interested, fill out that form too. And you can tell me, any of your thoughts or questions and things like that. So, yeah, and I have other things coming up. I'll say more at the end of the video also that I'm really excited about. And many of you have already signed up, and yeah, really looking forward to many, many things. So, okay. In terms of this new moon and this grand fire trine that's calling to me very strongly, let me just start by showing you the grand trine itself on this chart of the new moon. And as I do that, I will also kind of take us back a little bit to the reality of what was going on when Venus went retrograde, because the same grand fire trine was being activated as Venus was going retrograde, and then it's being activated again at this new moon. So, and really, I would say it's very active now. I mean, it's just active, period. Okay, so the grand trine is, as you can see, this new moon that's coming up on August 16th, which will be exact at 2:30-ish a.m. in Pacific time. So really the whole world will have this new moon on August 16th. And the new moon itself will be at 23:17 of Leo. The new moon will be conjunct Black Moon Lilith at 24 of Leo. And then where the grand trine comes in, well, the new moon also will be relatively close to Venus, which is going to be at 18:39 Leo, still going retrograde. But then the new moon will be trining the north node of the moon at 26 of Aries, also Erisina at 25 of Aries, and Venus will be trining Chiron. I mean, the new moon is sort of in a loose trine, I guess, to Chiron too, but really Venus and Chiron will truly be in a trine. And Chiron is going retrograde at 19 of Aries. And then the other part of the grand fire trine is the galactic center at 27 of Sagittarius. And also something I talked about in a previous video is Varda, the Kuiper belt object Varda is sitting on the galactic center. So I talked about this, I can't remember which video I talked about it in. I think actually maybe it was I don't remember. Anyway, recently, maybe it was the full moon video actually, probably. So when Venus went retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. And as she did that, the North Node was at 28 of Aries. And then, the galactic center is at 27 of Sagittarius with Varda sitting on the galactic center. So there was also the same grand fire trine between Venus when it went retrograde, the North Node, and Varda / the galactic center. Also, when Venus went retrograde, it was exactly opposite the asteroid Eros, who is going retrograde also. So actually also on this new moon, because Venus and Eros are kind of doing this dance together. So you can see that actually on this new moon, Venus and the asteroid Eros are still opposite each other. So they're still kind of in this dance with each other. And also at the time of this new moon, Eros and Hygeia are very near a conjunction with each other. And yeah, and I've said this before also, Hygeia and Eros are doing a dance with each other. They're kind of in a conjunction for months and months and months and months, because they're both going retrograde in the mid degrees of Aquarius throughout this whole year. They're they were going direct, then they're going retrograde both now, and then they'll be going direct around the same time. So so Hygeia and Eros are in this relationship with each other for quite a while this year. And then Eros and Venus are in this dance together. Okay, so what does that all mean to me? One of the big themes that I have been feeling, and I've talked about in a lot of these videos, is I'll come out of sharing for 1 second. So yeah, so what I'm feeling is the sense of, this repeated theme over and over and over again of throughout this whole year, of this opportunity and this calling for us to come into a healing of our relationship with sexuality, and in particular with our sense of what sexuality is, and the reality that ultimate sexuality is really sacred sexuality, which can be both, earthly Taurus, just pleasure, and on this other level is really a sacred energy, and is the energy of life force itself. So what I was shown in my prayers this morning, for example, was you probably heard me say this, but every day I go into my prayers and I have a whole set of things I do. And at the very end, I say, I am highest quantum source light. What is mine to do? And then I get shown through the light, whatever it is that the spirit world wants me to do. So this morning I did that. And what I was shown was to come back to that sacred sexual energy in myself, essentially, right? So that the Eros, that essence of life force of source, that is life, that is all things, that is everything. And I had been feeling, I had this experience yesterday. I was having a pretty strong Saturn transit actually yesterday. And so Saturn was on the transiting Saturn was exactly on my Mercury, and the sun was exactly on my natal Saturn. Okay, so I had this really actually incredibly helpful conversation with somebody, and that person was so blatantly playing the role of the Saturn energy, but in a beautiful yin Saturn way. So, and I did a free talk about Saturn as yin, if that piques your interest at all. It's on, you can email me and I can give you that link, or maybe I'll just put the link with this video. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. And so this person was, looking at something I'm doing, and was basically giving me some feedback that was, she was worried that she said, I hope you're not taking this as criticism. I was like, no, it's actually incredibly helpful. It was the sense of, her taking my ideals, looking and seeing the beauty of the ideals that I have in this thing that I'm doing, and saying, okay, great, that's great. And, have you thought about this? Like, what about this aspect of things? And maybe there's some way you could kind of firm up the structure of it, or be more clear, or blah, blah, blah. So it was really helpful, and helped me kind of like come back to earth and slow down. And I felt just very held and very supported in a really beautiful yin Saturn way. It was profound, actually. And at the same time, part of what I noticed in my body and in myself was that I had been kind of flying high with my plans for this thing. And that Saturnian energy, even though it was really beautiful and this yin experience of being held really in a really wonderful way, I definitely had some fears come up and some sense of like, oh no, what if, I didn't think about this. And so I noticed my body contracting to a certain extent. And so when I woke up this morning and I was doing my praying, I noticed in my body still a little bit of that contracting and that fear response. And so when my praying said, come back to the sacred sexuality, the life force of source, having that moving through my body and like being who I am and fueling me and all that I do, I could feel that softening this more, the aspects of that Saturnian experience that I had embodied in a way that wasn't super helpful to me. And I mean, that's such a minor example, but what the spirit world was saying is that what they said was, the words were, there is never a time when the sacred sexuality doesn't exist. That's just true. And there's never a time when it's not helpful and not healing. So something I've noticed in my own life, and I'm guessing you can probably relate to, is when there are times when, something feels really difficult or something happens and, even something really awful, or whatever it is, some difficult situation arises, either minor or huge or whatever it is. Often I think we can go into fight or flight mode. I mean, that's the most extreme, but even short of that, we can get in a state of being more contracted or in that fear response. And again, speaking for myself, I can say that I often feel like when I'm in that state, there's something I need to do about it, right? And so then I get this mode of, okay, it feels counterintuitive to relax and be in that flow of that pleasure and that divine sexual energy. And so what I was being shown in my prayers was essentially, that's actually the opposite of what is needed in just about any moment. And what they weren't saying go have sex, like wasn't the point. I mean, that's fine too, if that happens to be what, is right in a given moment. But what they were saying is that the literal spark of life is that Eros energy. It is that Leo energy too, that the creative life force of source. That's literally what we're made of. That's what everything is made of. And so it can't not exist. And to be in a regular, consistent practice of just allowing it to flow, to be in its healthy form of being as us. That's, first of all, the most healing thing we can possibly do for ourselves. A top thing we can do, because it opens our body. It helps us to relax. It helps us to come back into the parasympathetic nervous system. I mean, when I'm letting it flow just right now, right? It's like, it opens up my body. It helps me to relax physically. And I can feel my brain even just opening and relaxing into a much more open and complete state of being. And then if there are things, like, let's say there is a sort of Saturnian reality that comes in, and there's like some task that it's really important to take care of in this world, in this day-to-day time space continuum reality, then great, that's also great, right? And the the life force of source can still be flowing as us and can fuel, then we can meet whatever that Saturnian energy is, or that need is, the practical stuff happens to be. We can meet it with this open, flowing energy. And then the other really cool part about what came through in my praying that I loved so much was, and then they said, and always remember that every energetic has a divine state of being. So again, every energetic has a divine state of being. So for example, Saturnian energy, we can experience in so many different ways, right? I would say infinite ways. And I would also say a majority of the time when I hear people talking about Saturn energy, there's a lot of distress in their voice. There's a lot of worry and concern and fear. And I understand that. And what they were saying, though, is that, you know, there are layers to all of these archetypes that certainly there's a reality that might come that is distressing or difficult or challenging in some way. That's not untrue. And yet there is a divine template to each of these energies. So there's a divine template to, for example, to the Saturn energy. So what they had me do in my praying this morning was, you know, let that sacred sexuality flow and open. And then they had me tap into, okay, so I was feeling that contraction in my body of that Saturnian energy. And they said, okay, so now tap into the divine version of that Saturn energy. And my whole body relaxed. I was like, oh, yes. It's like the divine version of Saturn energy, to me, it's not scary at all. It's so beautiful. It's like having an ancient fairy godmother in a sense. It's like, and this person I was talking with yesterday, I mean, that's kind of how I experience her. She's an amazing human, and older than me, and deeply wise. It's just uncanny how much she represents to me that yin, truly healing Saturn energy. And so yeah, one thing that the spirit world was saying to me this morning was, don't forget, there's always a divine template version, energetic vibration of each of these archetypes and each of these energies that we associate with astrology and the cosmos and life. I mean, the same is true for the template of all the chakras and, you know, our organs. Maybe you have experience with that too, but yeah, they reminded me that it's so key to tap into the divine template energetic version of each of the archetypes, in addition to acknowledging, you know, what the other aspects of what those energies might represent or come with or whatever it is. And I'll just, like, sort of a side note there, I'll say that is a huge part of what they want to hold space for, to be coming through in the Astrology 101 course that's starting next February, is that we're going to really, they're going to hold space for us to really drop into and feel the divine template version of each of the archetypes and the energetics associated with every zodiac sign, the constellations, each of the planets, etc. In addition to, you know, maybe other aspects of those things also. Okay, I think I made that point clear, I hope. So let me come back to the chart, because then there are some other things I just want to drop into a little more specifically. Oops, not that. Where did my chart go? Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So I want to drop in to each component of this grand earth trine. So I've kind of already talked about like the, if you want to call it like the gestalt of it, the whole picture. But now I want to drop into the components, because I was realizing earlier today, whoa, if we drop into each of the components of this grand earth trine, oh my goodness, there's so much there. So I'm going to do that. So first we have, so at the new moon, again, it's at 23 degrees of Leo, 17 minutes, conjunct black moon Lilith at 24 of Leo, and, loose-ish, but a conjunct Venus, who's going retrograde at 1839 of Leo. Okay, so if we just take this one point of this grand fire trine, I mean, black moon Lilith, the new moon, and Venus in Leo, there's so many layers, so many layers there. And I had an amazing, beautiful conversation with Melanie Reinhart and Chris Skidmore the other day, which I think most of you have probably already watched that video, but if you haven't, wow, my whole experience of the Venus archetype just, I think, was radicalized, revolutionized, whatever that word is, changed, dramatically changed in that conversation with Melanie and Chris. And yeah, there's just so many layers there, but it was a 2-hour conversation. So definitely, if you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. Because there's so many layers in that Venus archetype that I'm not going to talk about right now, but because I'm not feeling called to it, but it's true, it's there, and yeah, so much more. But on a basic level, what I feel in these energies with black moon Lilith, the new moon, and Venus going retrograde in Leo is so strongly about coming into our power, the innate truth of our power in our sexual energy, in our beauty, in our creative life force of source. A lot of these things I've already been saying, but I mean, that black moon Lilith there just adds in this depth and this embodiment, like deep, radical, full embodiment of our sovereignty as powerful sexual beings. Literally, we are the power of existence itself. We are source itself, and we are these goddesses, like whatever your gender identity happens to be, we are the goddess who is the power of life force itself. It's just true. So there's this way of being with sexuality that is so complete in, unto ourselves, and just present with the reality that we are source. We are the power of existence, literally. And our sexuality and ourselves, we are complete, we are whole, regardless of whether we have a sexual partner or not, regardless of, again, our gender identity or sexual orientation or whatever it is. That's not really the point. The point is that our value is complete, it is whole, we literally are existence, period, the end. And with Venus and the new moon in Leo and Black Moon Lilith in Leo, that's so embodied. It's like, it's not just a concept. It's like we can feel it in our whole earth body. So powerful and beautiful. And just to throw in, add one more component, which I haven't even mentioned, but it's feeling really, really important to say, is that this new moon also is going to be squaring Uranus in Taurus exactly. So the new moon again is at 23 of Leo. Uranus will have just moved into 23 degrees of Taurus. It's heading, that's just about as far as it's going to go this year in Taurus. Next year it will come to the 24 degree mark of Taurus, but this year it's going to go retrograde pretty close to where it will be on this new moon. And yeah, but the new moon is like within literally 17 minutes squaring Uranus. Whoa, right? So Uranus in Taurus, I've said this so many times, but for me, among other things, brings us back to the reality of that we are the intelligence of the divine as Earth and as our bodies. So to have this new moon conjunct Black Moon Lilith, conjunct retrograde Venus, squaring Uranus in Taurus is like, wow, just extra powerful. And then when we really do bring in the Venus retrograde at 18 degrees, again, that's opposite Eros at 18 of Aquarius. And then really it's making it, in a sense, a T-square with Jupiter, who is coming to almost the degree where it's going to go retrograde. It's on this new moon, it'll be at 1458 of Taurus, but it's going to go retrograde not too long from now at 15 of Taurus. So both Uranus and Jupiter are getting close to where they're going to be stationing retrograde soon and in Taurus, and they're both involved in the energies of this new moon pretty powerfully. So again, grounding us, I feel that like really grounding us and coming back to this reality over and over and over again. We are earth bodies, we are earth beings, we are earth and the divine as one, and the earth itself is the earth and the divine as one. It's just true. And our bodies are these earth temples for this Leo, Eros energy to be filling, to be circulating in, to be fueling. And again, with the Hygeia, conjunct Eros, also opposite Venus, and in this dance with Eros, again, it's like bringing in this healing energy, and Cheroklo not very far off. There's just so much healing in terms of our relationship to the sexual energy, etc., and our bodies, and being able to come into a really transformed way of being with it all, and healing the trauma that has been associated with sexuality for eons. Yeah, there's just so many layers there. So beautiful and powerful. Okay, so that's the one point of the triangle, is the new moon with Black Moon Lilith and Venus, which happens to be in this T-square, with all these things I just named. Okay, then part 2 of this triangle is the North Node in Aries, and actually also conjunct Eris Xena, and not too far from Chiron. But I'm just going to focus just on even the North Node in Aries, because the part of that feels so key and important is the sovereignty in it. So as we have the North Node now having entered Aries and already at 26 degrees of Aries, and it is conjunct Erisina, and is going to be conjunct Erisina for many months, and is actually, Erisina is going to be precisely conjunct the North Node at the October eclipses. This is such a powerful energy. Again, I mean, really kind of repeating the themes of the Black Moon, Lilith conjunct the new moon, and even Venus. This is powerful sovereignty as the goddess of existence, of like, wow. Erisina is just, so incredibly powerful. I did a free talk on her also earlier this year, and you're welcome to watch that. And actually this coming Tuesday, I'm doing a workshop on Erisina in the Goddess series that I do with Verena Borel. You're welcome to join that anytime also. I'll put that link here. But yeah, Erisina is going to be key. I mean, she has been key for years, actually, because she was squaring Pluto, et cetera, et cetera. But this fall, right now, starting now, she is conjunct the North Node of the moon. And she will be precisely conjunct the North Node of the moon on the eclipses this fall. So she has such a prominent role. And again, I go much more into her energy in that free talk, and then I'll be going even more into it in this workshop next Tuesday. But yeah, I wanted to take a minute to drop into, again, that divine blueprint of the Aries energy. And there's so many layers there. I mean, so many. It's like, could go on and on. But what's feeling especially alive to me in this moment, as I'm dropping into what I'm being asked to say or to convey for this video, is Aries has so much to do with our self-sovereignty and our sense that it's just a reality that we need what we need. It's the truth that we need what we need. And we don't need to feel guilty. We don't need to feel angry. We don't need to feel anything about it other than it is truth. It just is. And there's this whole learning, I think, among other things, many other things, with the nodes now being in Libra and Aries, of learning that balance of the Libra Aries dynamic, and how we can both be in relationship with others and just be simple and true to our own needs and our own self. And yeah, something I've mentioned to some of you is, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, for whatever reason, I have been getting called so strongly. I'll come out of screen share for a second to say this. I mean, I've been getting called so strongly to listen every day to a particular prayer that Diana Cooper has on her YouTube channel. I'll put that video here too. It's her daily practice, and I actually only listen to the first 3 or 4 minutes of it every day, though. I've been listening to this, and the 2 parts in the beginning that feel really medicinal to me right now are 2 things. Number 1, she says in the beginning something along the lines of, allow all lesser pathways to be closed, and for me to be guided to the one highest true pathway for me. That has been feeling like a game changer for me on so many levels. So it's like, that feels related to a lot of different energies going on astrologically in general, and for me, but in terms of the Aries Libra, it's that, when there's this one truth, Aries, like it just is my sovereign reality, that there's this one highest pathway that just is the highest pathway for me. And when I allow myself to energetically let go of and close, quote unquote, all lesser pathways. It's like, probably a lot of you can relate to this. I realized when I started doing that just 2-3 weeks ago that I had been operating all my life, I think, with a constant state of openness, like porousness. I mean, I have a lot of Pisces energy. I have a lot of Neptunian energy, and probably like a lot of you, I'm extremely empathic, right? So I can feel so much of what's going on with other people, with the planet, whatever, all these energies. And I knew that about myself, but what I didn't realize is that my energetic body has been constantly scanning for all of the infinite pathways that are potentially open for me, right? And I've been constantly energetically looking for like almost like a constant radar. Where's the pathway that I'm meant to go on, right? And what do I like this one? I'm like constantly assessing it too on my energetic body. I wasn't consciously doing that, or not most of the time, but it's like my energy body was constantly feeling into multiple options, like infinite options. And again, that's, I think, a very Piscean thing, but also I realize a Libra thing, because it's like I was constantly feeling, okay, what are the energies of other people, other, dynamics? What do I need to be weighing, this or this? And my own nodes are in Aries and Libra. I have flipped of what's going on. I'm moving into my own personal nodal opposition right now, actually. So my South node is in Aries and my North node is in Libra. But anyway, the ruler of my North node, Venus, is on my South node. So I have a lot of both of those energies in me. And and then with my Sun being in Pisces in my 7th house, I have a definite tendency to be constantly scanning and trying to listen for what are the needs of everything and everybody. and assessing all of that. So when it's like North node in Aries, right? When I started listening to this prayer by Diana Cooper, and I felt in myself what it would be like to be focused on the one highest true path, period, the end, and to let go of and even let close all of the other infinite pathways and only be guided to the one that's the highest and most true, real for me, the one truth. Oh my God. I so profound. I mean, so many things started happening and things just started coming true for me. Like I would get a very clear vision of what was meant to happen. I would step into that reality. I would think that's way beyond what's possible. And it has been happening and coming true. It's so bizarre. It's so interesting and so amazing. And also I've been noticing in my energy body, I suddenly was so tired and needed to just sleep, right? So I've been sleeping a lot, and I'm sure that's for a lot of different reasons. As you know, I've been doing a lot and working a lot, and I'm slowing, for my standards, slowing down. But it was like, I think my energy body suddenly could relax because I wasn't scanning those infinite possibilities. I mean, whoa, amazing. So I don't know if that gives you a sense. I hope that maybe can give you a sense of what I'm feeling in that sovereignty and that clarity of just pure truth of what is in that North node in Aries. It's so profound. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to the chart one more time and drop into the third component, the third point of the grand Earth trine. So we've got the new moon in Leo, trining the North node and Eros in Aries. And then the third point of that triangle is not here on the chart, but it exists, which is the galactic center and Varda. So Varda, again, this beautiful Kuiper belt object is conjunct the galactic center. And I talked about her. I'm going to come out of the sharing again one more time. So I talked about Varda in that video, I think the full moon video. And I read a little excerpt, which I'm going to read again, just because it would help me to read it again. And maybe it would feel good for you if I read it again. She is, I think, maybe my favorite archetype right now. I'm feeling very called to her, extremely. I love Varda so much. And I actually was talking to Kelly Hunter yesterday. Not a video, just we had a conversation on Zoom, and I was talking to her about Varda, and yeah, she had some really beautiful insights too. And she, incidentally, is going to be one of the guest speakers in the Astrology 101 course. So I can't remember if I said that at the beginning of this video. The guest speakers are going, if I didn't say it already, the guest speakers are going to be Heather Ensworth, Julia Balaz, Kelly Hunter, and Chris Skidmore. Those four are definitely going to be part of the course next year, the Astrology 101 course starting in February. And then there's a fourth possibility that I'm not sure about yet. So yeah, but anyway, amazing, right? That was one of the visions I was getting, is that there's supposed to be these very particular people who are guest speakers in this course. And I thought, oh, wow, that's a lot to ask for. And then I asked them and they all said yes. I was like, wow, okay. So that's like that Aries North Node, the one highest, true path. All other pathways close. Be guided just to that one path. That's a huge example of how that's manifesting for me. So it's like, whoa. The power of what happens when, I don't know, I've never experimented with that before, and now that's how I'm being guided to live. So there you go. That's an example. Anyway, yes, so I was talking to Kelly Hunter yesterday about the course, and then we started talking about Varda. And so I want to just read you again this little excerpt from this J.R.R. Tolkien book, which is where Varda is. So this is Varda and Manwë are two of the new Kuiper, newly discovered Kuiper belt objects that Kelly Hunter, for example, talks about in her work. And they are characters out of this book, the Silmarillion by Tolkien. And it's a novel that was published by his son after he died. So Varda and Manwë are, two of the main characters in the book, and they are basically they're the leader couple in that world. And Varda is the feminine and Manwë is the masculine version of that couple. So I'll just read you this one paragraph from this book because it's super beautiful and I love it. Okay. With Manwë dwells Varda, Lady of the Stars, who knows all of the regions of Ea being their land, their world. Too great is her beauty to be declared in the words of men or of elves, for the light of Ilúvatar lives still in her face. The light is her power and her joy. The light is her power and her joy. Out of the deeps of Ea, she came to the aid of Manwë, for Melkor she knew from before the making of the music and rejected him. Melkor is the evil guy, basically, in the story. For Melkor she knew from before the making of the music in capital, meaning, I think existence, and rejected him, and he hated her and feared her more than all others whom Eru made. Manwë and Varda are seldom parted, and they remain in Valinor. Their halls are above the everlasting snow, the uttermost tower of Teniquetil, tallest of all the tall mountains upon earth. When Manwë there ascends his throne and looks forth, if Varda is beside him, I love this, he sees farther than all other eyes, through mist and through darkness and over the leagues of the sea. And if Manwë is with her, Varda hears more clearly than all other ears the sound of voices that cry from east to west, from the hills and the valleys, and from the dark places that Melkor has made upon earth. Of all the great ones who dwell in this world, the elves hold Varda most in reverence and love. Elbereth they name her, and they call upon her name out of the shadows of Middle Earth and uplift it in song at the rising of the stars. Yeah, and there's more, but I think that gives an idea. So basically, Varda is a being of light, of stars, and she has this ability to hear through everything. And then Manwë, her partner, has the ability to see through everything, especially when they are together. So it's like when one way I could feel that in myself is, when this beautiful divine feminine and divine masculine, the power of the two of them to come together in ourselves, it's like we become existence itself in a sense, right? We can see through everything. We can see through an infinity, through existence. We can hear through infinity and existence. And again, she's this being, this powerful, powerful being of light and of the stars. And yeah, there's so many layers to feel into there. But bottom line, this Varda is conjunct the galactic center, and the galactic center is the center of our galaxy. And for me, anything that's interacting or connecting with the galactic center it's channeling. The way I feel it energetically is it's channeling the energetic of source itself. So we have Varda on the galactic center in a trine to that new moon in Leo with Black Moon Lilith and Venus going retrograde. And then those two are in the grand trine, making this triangle with the North Node and Eros Xena. So I think maybe you get the picture. It's, whoa, it's so powerful. And it's this like grand trines are, especially, well, in general, not always, but in general, it's like this, just a synergistic alchemy that can happen in these energies, in this case of all in fire. And the really, really, it's like super juicy and super alive. And it's like the life force of source just wanting to move and become what it is meant to become, right? And to serve life literally, and to have that be what fuels us and heals. Is so incredibly healing and can help us to feel held and beautiful and alive and creative, and whatever is divinely meant to be moving through us and wanting to move through us, it's perfect, whatever that happens to be. That's some of the layers of what I feel in that grand trine. And then with the new moon squaring Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, and Venus in that T-square with Eros in Aquarius and Jupiter in Taurus. I mean, it's again bringing us to our bodies, bringing us to the reality of ourselves and our bodies as conduits of this life force of source, and that our bodies have deep, deep, deep intelligence, and that and we're meant to be integrated as beings of source and beings of earth, beings of our bodies, as our bodies contain all of it and move as it and are one as it. Yeah. And then, you know, when any other energies interact with it, again, the reminder to me is to meet it all in its divine essence and its divine template. Again, for example, that Saturn energy that was going on for me personally yesterday, just take a deep breath and relax into the divine opportunity, the divine intention, and then come back to, again, that deep well of that life force, creative, sacred sexuality that is always here, no matter what, literally no matter what is going on, it is always here. And it is always available to be fueling us, helping us to heal, helping us to feel good, helping us to enjoy life. Feel sensual and sexual, but in this really sacred, profound, creative, beautiful way. Yeah, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, again, no matter whether you're in a relationship or not, or whatever it is, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you are literally a manifestation of the divine. You are literally a masterpiece of the divine. That's another part of the Leo energy. That's, you know, the positive healing aspect of that. You are literally a beautiful creation, masterpiece, perfection of the divine. And spirit world just wants us to know that and feel that and let it flow. Okay, I think that's enough. I've said a lot. Great. Yes. So the things I have coming up, I talked a lot longer than I thought I would, so I will keep it really short. But essentially, the things I have coming up. Number one, I have my ongoing membership, which is $22 a month. I would love to have any of you join that anytime. That membership comes with a monthly Infinite Soul Wisdom gathering where I talk more deeply about the astrology of our month, and I channel a message from the spirit world that's meant to be grounding and help, you know, give helpful tools of whatever is wanting to come through in that month. Number two, the new thing starting this month is I'm going to be holding monthly birthday sharing circles for all members. And so this month, the month of August, for anybody in the membership whose birthday is August or recent, like July, June, I'm going to look at, if you want, I will look at the give a little brief look at your solar return chart, so your year ahead, and then also give an opportunity for you to be held in this divine light and love, and set any intentions you want to set for your year ahead and beyond. And then that's the Infinite Soul Wisdom monthly membership, $22 a month. Then part two of what I'm offering right now is this beautiful series that's starting this month for 4 months, called the Spirit and Earth Ally Soul Reunion Series. And in that, I'm going to be each month talking about my own experiences and then channeling certain spirit and earth beings. So each month has a different theme. This month of August, I'm going to be channeling and doing a guided healing experience with beings of light, angels, and unicorns. In the month of September, it will be earth beings. So, you know, these are all beings I have very strong relationships with personally, and I haven't talked about it very much publicly because I feel hesitant to for a lot of reasons, but a lot of you have shown interest in that, and I'm feeling like they're wanting to talk. So this is the kind of more safe container that I feel comfortable doing that in. So the month of September is going to be earth beings like fairies and gnomes and elves and things like that. The month of October is going to be ocean beings, a really, really, really profound set of experiences with ocean beings. So I'll be sharing about that. And they will be, each of these beings each month will lead the deep peace and healing circle of that month at the end of the month. And then the fourth month is going to be on inner earth beings. So there's these really, really profound experiences I don't think I've ever shared publicly. I've had like incredibly healing miracle type of experiences actually that I've had with these beings who I experience, who live in the earth or in the mountains. So yeah, again, I feel really tender and careful, cautious about talking about any of that very much publicly. So that's why I'm wanting to do it in a closed container where you choose very consciously to be there, and I choose very consciously to share with you. But I would love to have you there. If it calls to you, definitely please join. Again, that's the Spirit and Earth Ally Soul Reunion series. And that series comes with that membership I was just talking about. So for the 4 months of being in that series, you are automatically part of the membership. So you can come to the Infinite Soul Wisdom gatherings, and you can come to the birthday circles and all of it as one. And you can, you can continue being in the membership afterward if you want, but you also don't have to be. And then, I have some really wonderful workshops coming up this fall as well. Please see my website for more, or contact me for more information. Or if you're on my newsletter, I'll be sending out information on that. And then the big thing that I definitely would love to know if you're interested is this Astrology 101 course coming up starting in February 2024. And I, like I said, I've created an option for anybody who wants to sign up by September 1st of 2023. You can do an 18-month payment plan, and I have a sliding scale set of options. So I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible. And also, when you sign up for the astrology course, I'm giving anybody who signs up by January 1st, I will give you a free hour session with me. And depending on which level of payment you do, for some people, I'm giving 2 free sessions with me, one-on-one. And also joining the course comes with a 25% discount on these workshops coming up this fall, and various other things with me. So again, for the astrology, it's the Infinite Soul Wisdom Astrology 101 course starting February 2024. The sales page isn't public yet, but I can send it to you if you're interested. And I would love for you to also fill out the form that I'm linking with this video. And again, there will be amazing guest speakers: Heather Ensworth, Julia Balaz, Kelly Hunter, and Chris Skidmore so far, possibly one more. Anyway, yes. So be in touch, definitely, if you're interested in that. I think it's going to be amazing. And I will even make a separate video just to dive more deeply into the vision I'm getting of that, because it's so powerful and so beautiful. And then finally, if you haven't already, sign up for the free gathering, the Infinite Soul Wisdom Initiation Gathering, which I did one version of this past Wednesday, August 2nd, and it's recorded, and the recording is available for free. And then I'm doing the second one tonight. If you happen to be seeing this today, it's August 4th, 2023, and it'll be tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. But also that one will be recorded. So I'm putting the link to sign up for the recording, and also to access the Zoom link if you can be there live. Yeah, but be in touch anytime. Please share anything you want with, you feel called to share with me anytime at livingtheonelight@gmail.com. Yeah, just so many beautiful energies right now. In addition, I mean, there's lots of challenging ones too. And I just, yeah, I pray that can feel this healing, beautiful creative life force energy that is so present. It's always present, but we're being really held and supported to come into a healing new way of fully flowing as that all the time, because that is who we are and what we are. And just being in that, in a healed, fully embodied, fully sovereign, sacred way. I feel changing my own life, and I feel can truly change our world and change your life too, potentially. So if that feels right for you, wonderful. And thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. Okay.